Good evening all and welcome to the Celtic Unrestricted View. I'm JP. It is Friday night and joining me in this show tonight, my good man, Mr. Barry Bannan. Good evening, Barry. How are you, mate? It's good to see you, pal.
Good evening, big man. I'm good. It's good to be back on. Just me and you by the looks at the night, so I've no doubt we'll have a few more viewers on the night tuning in.
Hopefully.
Than previous nights that I'm on, so glad to be on, mate. And looking forward to what we're going to be touching on tonight.
Obviously, before we jump into anything to do with Celtic related, mate, a big breaking news story of the day for Sheffield Wednesday. Also, Celtic fans will be very familiar. The man himself has indeed the signing of Stuart Armstrong for Vancouver Whitecaps, mate. What a coup that is for his boys. What are we thinking? You all right? Can you hear me? I think Baz might have froze. Baz, you there? Can you hear me, yeah? I think Baz is froze, folks. Not to worry. That's fine. That's what happens with technology. Technology is a very peculiar thing. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. We'll give Baz a wee second, see if he comes back on. There he is. Can you hear me, mate?
Sounding like a robot there, big man. I don't know what was going on.
Maybe it was a connection. Either that or I put my big army voice on there as if I was in the Terminator. I nearly asked for your boots, your clothes and your motorcycle as well. No, I was just saying, I was just killing a bit of time there. You came back on me. I was very nice.
Like me Ryan on Wednesday night,
Aye. By the way, I'm sure he bumped into a few robots down there on Wednesday night, I'll tell you. But no, I was just saying, mate, breaking news for obviously yourselves in Sheffield Wednesday. A former Celt has just signed with us for Vancouver Whitecaps. It is indeed the man, Stuart Armstrong. You happy with that one, mate?
It's brilliant, mate. Obviously, he's played Premier League, he's played for Celtic, the Champions League. His history speaks for itself, so delighted that we brought somebody of that quality in, because I'm sure he could have probably had his pick of teams. Having played with him in the Scotland team and supported him for a long, long time when he was at Celtic. So, no, I'm delighted. He's a great guy as well, obviously, to add to the changing room and the spirit. And morale in the changing room will be lifted with a player like that coming in. You say we're in a good position at the minute, and when you're adding players like that, it looks good for the rest of the season going forward.
I think I better ask you before the Celtic fans all start commenting in and asking me, is his hair still fine?
I was singing it to him today when he was getting his pictures taken, went out the window.
Get in here.
I was singing the song.
Did you get a chance to speak to him?
I spoke to him, mate.
Brilliant.
He was his usual bubbly self. He's a lovely guy and just quite a happy fella as well. So I'm just speaking to him about Vancouver and stuff, and it kind of never really went the way he thought it was going to go. So I'm delighted to have him at us because he could. I think he's still got a Premiership quality in him. So I'm just delighted he's decided to come and sign for us.
I don't know if I'm talking out of turn. I had a chat with Ryan about this earlier, Buzz, but I really do think you have now got a Premiership mid-three between yourself, Shear and Stu, all capable of playing still at that level. So I think obviously it's fantastic, mate, and obviously it bodes well. The manager with Danny Rowe, folks, Stuart's actually worked with Danny at Southampton. So I think, in all honesty, as it works well for you, mate. because the manager knows him really well, and he should hopefully settle pretty quickly with good people like yourself round about him.
No, definitely. The manager's obviously worked with him at Southampton. I know Danny was the assistant then, which sometimes assistants have closer relationships with the players than the managers do. So no doubt their relationship's really strong. And Shuey used to room with Liam Palmer when they were in the Scotland squad. So I know he's close with Pams,
Right.
Pato as well. So, and he's obviously beat Josh Windass loads of times up there as well. So I'm no doubt he'll know who Josh Windass is. So he's got a few familiar faces that I'll settle him in quite quickly.
Josh looking through his fingers when he came through the door, did he? He's like, oh no, there he's there.
Had a nightmare again, didn't he, when he came through the door?
Aye, it's no dead by that. You're trying to take one now, son.
He was reminiscing back to that 5-1 his debut at
Aye. Aye, Armstrong scored in that game as well, which was tremendous. But aye, no, listen, I thought it was brilliant. I thought I'd get a wee mention just at the beginning of the night, because I thought it was an excellent signing for you, and I hope that can kick you on now and give you the energy you needed to start winning more games and keeping you up the table, kind of, because he's only far away for that playoff. I think 1 or 2 players in before the deadline, mate, and I think that could really, really help you. So, no, fingers crossed for you. Good evening to everybody that's joining us in the chat. I hope you're all well. And Jem, first in evening, JP, Barry, and the chat. There's a wee man there, skiving as usual on the day job. Chris Murray, evening, boys, and the chat. Bradlad88, yes, I'm back. Found yous last Friday. Oh no, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. He's a wee comment for you there. He says, Barry Bannan, the player, some left peg on that boy. Superb. See, you're well known, mate. So obviously, not just does it know you. Stevie, good evening, mate. I hope you're well. Eminem joining us also. And we've got Mr. William Glavin also in the chat. Evening all. Francis Lester, evening JP and Barry. Wee Wally Collins in maze as well. How we doing? Hope you're well, mate. Evening JP and Barry. G-Doc, evening all. And Baked Beans, what a name that is, by the way, for a YouTube name. Brilliant, superb. Told you about Young Early Doors, he's an imposter. Stay in there with the first commenter. Brilliant. No one said hello yet, but happy days. We'll get to your point, hopefully, as we go. We must be having a wee bit of connection problems with Baz tonight. I don't know what's going on. But I'll just carry on as we do. Josh, how we doing, mate? I'm good. Hope you're well, pal. Good that you can join us this Friday night. What do we think, folks, of the Champions League draw? You can let me know in the comments where we're going. Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you disappointed? Did you want Madrid? Or are you quite happy we got Bayern Munich? You can let us know in the comments. Baz, how we doing? I don't know what's going on tonight, man. I don't know. Is it something to do with your connection there?
I don't know if it's this hotel Wi-Fi, mate, or just wants you on there tonight yourself.
Aye. By the way, that's how folks say to me, JP, you'll never be lonely. I went, no, you're damn tooting. I went, you want to know why? I went, why? Says, all the voices that talk to me in my head. That's the way. But Baz is away again. Can't hear you, Baz. Don't know what's going on. To be fair with you folks, do you know what we're doing? We're actually showing that we're capable, even at adult stage, and virtually, we are good at playing the hokey-cokey. Wee Baz is in, he's out, he's shaking it all about, he's having a party. Barry's in the hotel tonight, and obviously they're playing tomorrow. So, Ryan, while you're in the chat, mate, why don't you send them a message and tell them that very thing? Just to say about trying his data. Instead, I think Baz is going to, he's just texted me there, he's going to give it one last try because I think he's having trouble. Baz, you might need to try your data, mate, instead of the Wi-Fi. It might work on your data.
I just tried that there, but when I go to my data, the signal's obviously only 1 bar, so I'm on the Wi-Fi.
Right.
Because the data's terrible. Well, no, the actual signal of the place we're in is terrible.
Right, okay. All right.
I've disconnected my laptop and that. Everything that's in here off the internet.
Aye, to see if it speeds it up a wee bit for you.
Aye.
No worries. Obviously Celtic, mate, the other night, Aston Villa, you were there. You were in attendance to it. What was your thoughts on the game?
It was first and foremost, the atmosphere was amazing. Great atmosphere for the Celtic fans. Brilliant. So that was really good to see that side of it. No trouble as well, which is always good when it's a Battle of Britain. England against Scotland tends to be a bit of trouble, but the Celtic, I never really seen any trouble as well, which was great. Mm-hmm. The performance, I thought they actually started the game really well, as weird as it sounds, because we were 2-0 during 5 minutes, but I thought we were the ones that picked the ball up early, kept the ball for about a minute before they even touched it. I looked at the clock and I remember seeing it was 59 seconds before Villa got a touch. Mm-hmm. So I was pleased with that side of things, but then obviously they got the part and score with their first attack. And then you start to fear the worst. Obviously, Dortmund comes back to mind and stuff like that. But even like 20 minutes in, I was saying to my mate, like, they're actually in the game here. I don't know how it's 2-0. I was happy with how Celtic were playing. They looked quite confident, passed the ball really well. But I think the mentality side of things after going 2-0 down was unbelievable. Against a really good team at their home, their own home as well, and they were really up for it, Aston Villa, because obviously they qualified in the top 8, but they knew they had a huge chance by getting automatic qualification. So I thought Celtic were brilliant first half. Idah obviously getting 2 goals was a standout, and I thought Ria Hatate that's the first time I've seen them live for a while, the Celtic team, and sometimes I've seen a few of them for the first time. I thought Hatate was brilliant. I think it surprised me. Well, the thing that stood out with Hatate was every time he had the ball, he looked as if he had loads of time on it, and the rest of the Celtic players looked as if they were under pressure. Mm-hmm. He's just got this elegance of whether it's a quick pass that gets you out the press or a wee turn away that buys him time on the ball. I thought he was brilliant for Celtic. I thought Callum McGregor was brilliant. Arne Engels, I thought, done really well as well. So there was a few positives performances from the game. I thought Austin Trusty done well because he was playing against a top striker who's in the top of his game. There was a few times where he probably could have done a bit better, but it's levels, and I thought he was up against a very, very good striker who's in the top of his game, and obviously just had a 60 million bid from Arsenal. So it was a tough night for him, and he was isolated a lot of the times with Celtic pressing high, and I thought he dealt with it really well most of the time. Obviously, when you're playing against people like this, it's going to be hard to shut them out for 90 minutes, but I thought he done really well, Austin Trusty, considering he's come in for a bit of stick of recent weeks, but I was happy with how he performed. And I just feel second half, it was a different Celtic. I don't know whether that was the energy they put into the first half, and we probably needed a better bench to help us. But I just felt as if we sat half in the second half and tried to probably defend the lead, the 2-2, and maybe get to the last 10 minutes and maybe give it a go then. But I just felt as if it was a different Celtic in the second half. Maybe Villa raised it, but they just looked tired, and when we did get the ball back, we never looked after it. So I don't know what happened second half, but a lot of positives to take for the first 45. And I was left the game thinking, what if we had MAEDA and Cara Vickers that night, and if we kept Kyogo for another week maybe, or Jota was allowed to play, could the score have been different? I probably think we'd have got a good result if we had a fully fit team, because I think we obviously had Bernardo and people like that to call off for the bench, but normally our bench is a lot stronger than it was the other night, and I just feel we could have done with two more players maybe to come off the bench and help the boys, because they were dying on their feet the other night after about 60 minutes.
Yeah, I agree, because obviously you look at the two young. There's been a lot made of the two young boys that come on and actually make their debuts in there. And you've got Mike Nawrocki sitting there, who Ryan obviously mentions that he's a wee bit further ahead in his development and even experience than Dane Murray. But Brendan brought Dane Murray on before bringing Nawrocki on. So I do agree. I do think we were quite light in numbers on the bench, but I totally agree with everything you've said in terms of the way we played, how we set up in the first half. The two, when you go 2 down, I don't know what it was feeling like in the game, but I started edging the couch out for the wall and was creating that gap there, because I nearly done what I done against Dortmund, man. I nearly jumped behind it. So I thought to myself, here we go, this is another one of the nights. And then I thought, right, it's all about character here. It's all about trying to get back into the game and really try and impose our personality here, rather than just rolling over and letting them tickle your belly. But no, I was happy with the character they showed was immense, boys. And I really thought that when you see the second goal going in, and then you see the leadership for Callum, he pulls the 3 or 4 of them in a wee mini huddle, and he's kind of pointing to areas in the park as if we need to be better in these areas here, and this is what we need to do, blah, blah, blah. And it kind of worked. But then obviously the injury with Matty Cash getting off, and that energy comes away for Aston Villa there, coming down that right-hand side. And you look at that, and then, as you say, we get the 2 goals back by playing some really good football. And one of the lads in amongst the 2 goals here, there's actually a question about him. So this is where I'm bringing this to here. And it is from our contributor to the podcast, Big Barry McCartney. He said, "Evening, lads. Baz, as a centre mid, what's your thoughts on what level Engels is at, and what levels do you think he can get to?" You look at his back heel the other night as well, mate. That was lovely.
I watched him the other night, and I think when you play against these Premiership teams down here, you tend to find, when you're watching the games, the thing that sprung to mind straight away when looking at the 2 teams the other night was the difference in physicality and pace and strength they had to what we had. But he's one of the Celtic players that could match that. And he didn't look at a place in the park as in physicality, the running power. I know John McGinn kind of, I don't know if he slips because he gets back Engels for the passage of play that leads to their goal, and he looks as if he's got McGinn and caught him, but McGinn gets his bum in, and obviously Engels falls. But Arnie Engels looks as if he's got everything to be a top centre mid. He's obviously still really young, and he's still trying to find his feet at the minute. But you seen me the other night with the flick for the goal. It was beautiful. He's still trying to find his feet, finding his body. He's still growing, obviously. He's probably going to be even more physical. No doubt he'll be in the gym. He's still a young boy. So once you start getting in the gym and trying to fill out a bit more as well, that takes time to get used to your new physique. So he'll be going through loads of changes at the minute as he's a young boy. But I think we'll be, this time next year, looking at somebody that we think, he's going to go for big money, and we paid big money for him. But no, I think you'll see a massive difference from now to this time next year, and I think we'll be lucky to have him for probably 2 or 3 seasons, because I think he can definitely be a top midfielder. Technically wise, he can improve, no doubt about it, but as I said, his physicality and his strength and power at running and stuff, and he runs all day as well. So once he does get better technically, he's going to be a very, very good centre mid.
Baz, watching him over the last couple of weeks, and obviously obviously yourself, you seen him the other night in the flesh. I wasn't there the other night, but he looked very good even when I was watching him on the TV. And like he says, he doesn't look out of place. He's full of that running power, and he's got legs all day. See, watching on the angles, am I right, Baz, or is this just me? I don't know if I'm losing it, maybe with old age here, but is he a great addition to the side because of he's a big protector for Callum in the way that Scott McTominay was at Scotland, because of what he can do in terms of getting up and down the pitch and the way he takes the ball. When McGregor is being like hunted and being shut down at tempo with any players, if it's one or two, whoever jumps to McGregor, he's always at McGregor's side. He's always defending with Callum, and he's always looking to get in about it and really, really cement his authority in those moments. By the way, I know Baz is obviously having trouble with his connection, as he has been, because of where he is tonight, folks, and the hotel. Sheffield Wednesday have a game tomorrow. Can you hear me okay, Baz?
I'm back. It's came back on.
Mate? Okay. Basically what I was saying there about Engels is similar, in my opinion, to what McTominay used to bring McGregor at Scotland in terms of a shield. He works well with him because any time McGregor has been jumped on by the opposition, or like if they try and press McGregor, you watch Engels. I've watched this and I've seen it over a period of games now. He's right at McGregor's side as if he's a backup to McGregor. He gives him good legs and he gives him that energy, and he also is there for the out ball if McGregor gets a quick ball and they're looking to break through. So I just think, and then Hatate, he's the other side of that. He brings the quality, i.e. the pass that you saw against Young Boys for Idah, the ball across the box the other night for Idah. You seen Hatate on the press the other night in the final third as well. So Hatate's added that to his game as well, because maybe a year or two ago, Real Hatate doesn't make the runs, in my opinion, or he's not even in that position to make the runs. So I just feel that those three, given a bit of time, Baz, to develop together, I think those three are going to be really, really formidable for Celtic.
They're all different types, so you can use everybody's quality to do everything in the middle that you need. I think Arnie Engels could be a bit more physical because he's got the height and he's building his physique, but what he does give you for Cal Mack and Hatate, who are the quickest, he gives you the legs in there. He's the runner of the three. Cal Mack likes to sit and dictate and do the odd burst through the middle. And Hatate's always playing at the same pace, just oozes quality. But Arnie Engels is like the runner. He'll probably cover the most distance, I would imagine, and the high intensity at the three as well. But they've got a bit of everything off three of them when you take their qualities. So you're really starting to see, I said it a few weeks when I was on here, that midfield three needs to stay the same much as it can to get consistent performances. And I think we've seen that in recent weeks where it's been named three now that are probably the shirts at the minute, and the results are there for everybody to see. So I think that is your midfield three at the minute. I know Paolo Bernardo probably feels hard done by, but like I said, if they start underperforming, then them boys will get a chance. But they've got the jerseys at the minute, so I think it's only fair that until they have bad performances, that's the best midfield three at the minute for me. Yeah,
100%, mate. So overall, mate, was that a great experience being back at Villa Park? Obviously, your former team as well, Baz, and actually seeing Celtic as well.
No, it was good because I've not been to a Celtic game for ages now. Obviously, midweek games and stuff's hard because I've not normally playing in midweek as well.
Yeah.
And obviously, being back at an old club of mine's was good. Obviously, they wouldn't have been too happy if they had seen me and Idah scored the second. But nah, I was obviously happy for Aston Villa to qualify in the top 8. But I think everybody in the world knows that my team's Celtic, so I was obviously there supporting Celtic. So it was a great experience, obviously. Seeing Nicholas Kuhn up close as well. It's the first time I've seen him live.
What's your thoughts on him, Buzz?
Brilliant. Another one that could probably go down there, and I think he'd look even better with better players around him. I think he was a big threat for us the other night, but we never got the body of him enough. I was watching, and Alistair Johnston never really helped because it looked as if they'd done their homework, obviously, and they were stopping the ball out to Kuhn.
Yeah,
there was a time in the second half where Alistair Johnston actually just took off and ran and took the guy who was marking Kuhn with him, and Kuhn got the ball to his feet. But that's the only time it happened all night. I don't know whether he was scared to go forward in case they countered as Alistair Johnston, or he was told to stay more defensively. But I just felt he could have helped Nicholas Kuhn, because I felt as if I seen Kuhn at the start of the game when he left Idah for dead. I thought this could be a good night for him, but we never really brought him into the game as much as we should have, because I think when you get Nicholas Kuhn the ball, things at him, and we never done that enough the other night. So, but you could see from his touches and the outside boot, the boot pass he played down the side in the second half for Adam Idah to win the corner. Just like things like that, he's a top player, but I just felt we could have tried to get the ball to him a bit more, because he's the player in that part that's probably going to won you games, and we never used him as much as we should have.
Just as you touched on that there, right, and I'm glad I've got you here tonight to ask you this, because this is what I've thought for Wednesday. See, when you're talking about Alistair Johnston, right, and the fact that he just stayed still, not practically just stayed where he was, and it looked like parts of it was a wee element of, I can't do it against Ross County here or St Johnstone. Do you think that's something maybe Rodgers has worked with him because of that? Because, Ollie Watkins, he nips out into the half positions, he can drift, and then you've got the threat of the running power of Morgan Rodgers also drifting into that area. So do you think that's something, Brendan? Because it just looked to me, Baz, like that was something that was already asked upon him before they went onto the field.
I've seen a difference in him recently. I know he can, but I don't think he was fit for the cup final when we won the cup final. I thought that night he was poor, and that was him coming back from an injury just before that. Which I was watching him in the cup final. I just thought second balls were dry. I mean, normally he's aggressive and he's knit him in and he's on it and he's away. He was always second to the ball, and I just think since that injury, he's not been the same. Whether he's still injured or because he's been at fault for a few goals as well, where crosses and getting beat at the back post, no getting in, covering his centre back, people knitting in front of him. So I don't know whether he's still carrying an injury and he's not out it yet, or the goals that he's conceded are stopping him from being that marauding fullback now and attacking, and he's trying to concentrate probably on his defending. So, but I just don't think he's been the same since he came back for that cup final. I think maybe he came back a bit too early there, and he wasn't ready, or he might think that if he sprints for 90 minutes the way he has been this season, that injury will come back. It could be numerous things, but I just don't think he's been the same since the final.
See, I thought that as well, but then I found out the other day it's definitely he's not been sleeping properly. Apparently Ryan turned up at Lennoxtown wearing that. he's been having nightmares ever since, man. He's like, I'm not used to seeing a normal guy like that wearing stuff like that. I'm used to seeing Jota. But this was obviously before Jota had made his return. So, and apparently he's been struggling to break the story to Jota to say there's another guy up here kidding on his you. Just picturing a wee man walking into Lennox down wearing that, wouldn't you? He's standing at the other side of the door and KT's want to walk in. He's like, what's happening, Ryan?
The wee man had it on for 3 days down in Birmingham there.
That's how he's knackered, man. It took him about half an hour to get that denim jacket off. He's going to phone a fire brigade for his old man to get him to cut it out.
Brilliant.
Superb. Ryan, if you're still watching, we love you, mate. I'm only kidding. But no, listen, I've noticed that with Alistair Johnston over the last period of weeks, and I think you could be onto something there, Baz, in terms of his injury. I think there could be something maybe still lingering there. I don't want to write Tony Ralston off by any means or be disrespectful, but I just think we were in a period of the season over the last number of weeks, like you mentioned, the cup final and other games, where maybe Brendan wasn't comfortable just chucking Tony Ralston in and then having him playing a good run of games. But after January, mate, I'm led to believe we go back to like 1 game a week. So we just play the weekends, and obviously after the Champions League fate is dealt as well, and we find out whether we go through the Bayern Munich tie or we don't. You could be looking at, there could be a lot of rest period in there, and I really hope he does get it, Baz, because it's not going to be long, mate, before the international breaks start creeping up near again. And if he's going to have to travel to play with Canada, and then, you know, is this going to continue? That's your thoughts.
I just hope that he gets back to the level that he was at before the injury. I think he was arguably Celtic's best player. Alistair Johnston was brilliant. And he is a brilliant player, so this is why I can't get my head around what's happening. I think he could be. I honestly thought he was injured for the cup final.
Mm-hmm.
He's obviously not now because he's played every game since then, I think. But I think that cup final, he wasn't right. And no doubt performance levels have dropped. But as you say, you can't play well every week. But I just think on Wednesday night, watching up close, he wasn't getting forward as much as he does when I watch him in the league. But that's obviously you're playing against better team who have the ball as well, more than the Scottish teams. But I'd have just liked to have seen him help Kuhn a bit and try to not even get on the ball, just clear the space for Kuhn to get on it, because it was as if like we were looking out to Kuhn, but the guy was doing Alistair Johnston and Kuhn so easily, when it could have been Alistair Johnston just running for the sake of running, freeing up Kuhn to get the ball against Digne. But I don't know, it just didn't sit right. It could have been tactics. It could have been like you said, Brendan said, I need you to sit in tonight. The back four, just sit as a back four and let the other 6 go and win as the game, because even Greg Taylor, he wasn't really inverting as much as he normally does, and he wasn't up and down the pitch, obviously, like he normally is as well. I know he sets up the goal with a cross, but that was few and far between, really. So it could have been tactics for Brendan to say, listen, I need you to sit in as a back four tonight, and just let the rest of the boys go and win as the game, because definitely for me, by being there and watching it, I thought the fullbacks were quite reserved.
Yeah, no, 100%. Just your thought about fullbacks. It is now broke on Twitter, or X as people call it nowadays. It is by the journalist Fraser Fletcher that's put the article out, and he's tagged his working team, who are called Team Talk, in the tweet. Exclusive, understand, Dynamo Zagreb have offered a pre-contract deal to Celtic fullback Greg Taylor. There we are. So talks are moving forward, and up to Celtic man now if he wants to join them in the summer. What do you think of that, Buzz?
Can't go there. Jesus. Is that Zagreb were in our group today? We played them, didn't we?
Yeah, we drew with them over in Croatia, didn't we?
Speaking for, if it was me, no chance. There's no way I would go there. I know they're a Champions League team and stuff like that, obviously most years, but he's he's still at a good age and I think performances at Celtic probably merit a better move than that, to be honest. If he goes there, then obviously you'd wish him all the best. No doubt it'd be for a lifestyle choice as well, because Croatia's obviously a lovely place, but
He's just about to become a dad as well, isn't he? They just get married in the summer and now they are pregnant with a baby.
Aye, so I think that's a strange one. I think I would be very surprised if he went there. I think he's definitely got... I was actually speaking about it to my mates the other day at the game, actually saying, would it be worthwhile signing a new deal at Celtic and just playing 15 to 20 games a season when KT comes back, or do you want to go and play 30, 40 games? I think it'd be hard because you know that when the big games are coming round, you're going to be second choice and you're not only playing unless KT's got an injury problem or something. So for me personally, I'd probably move on if I was Greg Taylor, but don't think I would go to Zagreb. I think there'll be better clubs if he waits his turn than them in for him.
Yeah, well, as I say, that was just it came up on my phone. It actually pinged on my phone, and when I went into it, that's what it was. You look at, obviously, Celtic, they've let Alex Valle now go. Alex wasn't playing in the Celtic team due to, obviously, Greg Taylor being the number one pick for Brendan Rodgers. Alex Valle is now signed for Como today, Baz. So you would like to think that Celtic have always had an eye on someone coming in, whether it be Kieran Tierney or, somebody in the short term, because as we know, Kieran Tierney will sign for Celtic back in the summer. But when you look at that now, you've got to fancy Celtic bringing in a left back regardless, and maybe Greg Taylor goes at the end of the season instead of just now.
No, I think it has been a problem position for us. We spoke about it on here numerous times. I think, obviously, we get into the Champions League and stuff like that. That was always a position that Celtic probably have been trying to strengthen in, and obviously they have done with Kieran Tierney. Just a shame that he's not joining now, and it looks as if it's going to be at the end of the season. So now you've only got Greg Taylor when you had Greg and Alex Valle there fighting for that position. So there will have to be a short-term fix. I'm assuming that we're going to get somebody in for that position, because as fit and as robust as Greg's been, you don't want to risk it really by not having somebody to cover if anything does happen to him. So I think there'll be movement in the window. I think what's took so long is that nobody knowing if it was going to be now or at the end of the season with Tierney. So I think now they'll obviously have a list of candidates. With KT being the top one, they'll probably go down that list now and try and get the other ones that were on that list, maybe, if they can.
Yeah, I think there's still quite a number of Celtic fans still holding out hope that between now and Monday, there's something done for Kieran Tierney. Normally you'll know a bit better, Baz. If it gets to a point with these things, can it then be impacted differently from the players' side if say, for talking sake, between now and Monday, Kieran goes to Arteta or he goes to the club and says, look, I would rather just go just now, rather than wait till the summer? Because, I mean, up till now, he's not Mikel Arteta's first choice left back, and it looks like the lad Calafiore and the Lewis Skelly is getting picked over him, and they've still even got Zinchenko there as well. So what's your thoughts there? Do you think there's still a hope that, between now and Monday, something can be struck by that one? Because Brendan never ruled it out today.
I think they're waiting on to see who it is it goes, really, out of Zinchenko and KT. I think if they can get money for Zinchenko from Madrid and people like that, Dortmund who are in for him, then that'll be why KT's staying, because they're not getting any money for him. So they'd rather take money now by selling one of the left backs like Zinchenko. So I think if they get the right offer for Zinchenko, then that's why KT will stay. But if they don't get the right offer, I could see them letting Tierney come, because I think he's probably fourth choice left back there at the minute. I think if it came to it, Zinchenko would probably play before him as well, in Arteta's eyes. You've obviously got Calafiori and the young boy Skelly. I think Tomiyasu can cover there as well. I think he'll be back soon. So they've got a lot of players in that position, but I think, like you said, it's like a domino effect. Once one of them goes, or if Zinchenko don't go, then it'll be the next one, which will be KT, because they kind of keep 4 or 5 left backs there.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Moving on to Motherwell, Baz. Obviously, Motherwell next up in the League 4, Celtic at Fir Park. We take them on Sunday at 3 p.m. It's a bit of a strange one, mate, because they've got a bit of an ongoing cloud at the moment around their club. Obviously, their manager it's been well known now that he's been taking some abuse from sections of their fans, and it's led him to resign for his post, mate. In terms of the team itself, what kind of challenge are you expecting from Motherwell on Sunday?
They're doing really well, actually. I know that sounds crazy that the manager's walked out and he's been getting hammered off sections of the fans and that, but sometimes you look and you think, like, what's your expectations? Are they too high? Because I think he's done a good job, to be honest. I think he's done a really good job. I've seen him a few times now against Celtic and Rangers and stuff like that, and I feel as if they try to play the right way. Obviously, get the boy Lennon Miller in the middle, who's been a shining light for them this season. I know he's injured at the minute, but no, I've been impressed with him. So it did come as a surprise to me that he's left, because even when he was out of job as well, and I used to see him on Sports Scene, I thought he came across really well, the way he spoke and his knowledge of football and Sports Scene was really, really good. I used to like listening to him on there. So I can imagine that from just seeing him speaking on there, that he'd be a good manager to work for. So I'm a bit shocked that he's left, but I'm not at the same time, because if the stories are true that I've been reading, then there's a line in there, and I think the line's obviously clearly been crossed here, so he's got every right to walk out. And I think they'll struggle to find a better manager as his replacement. I think he done a really good job there. So you don't know what you're going to get. Obviously, with an Idah, I don't know who will be stepping in for him, but
Stevie Frail, wasn't it?
Is it Stevie Frail that's going to take it?
I think it's Stevie. He done the media press and all that today for him, so aye.
Right, so obviously he knows Celtic quite well, because he's worked there in the past. So
Slaney's da.
Slaney's da.
He looks like that.
So he'll know Celtic quite well. So I'm sure he'll have them up for it. And these are cup finals for teams like Motherwell's and all that come and play Celtic. It's their cup finals, so it's going to be another tough game, especially coming off the back of the Wednesday night Champions League game where they spent loads of energy at Villa Park, the Celtic players. So maybe Motherwell will be thinking they can catch them cold and get at them early. But like we've always said in this podcast, if Celtic turn up to anything that they're capable of, then they won the game comfortably in my eyes. But it has got the potential to be a banana skin, because it's a tough place to go. They're quite high up in the league, and I'm sure they'll be out fighting hard, because I'm sure they're not happy with the manager getting the abuse that he got as well. So they'll want to come out and prove a point, I think.
Somebody says he was raging. It wasn't nothing to do with the fans. He was raging because somebody says he looks like David De Gea.
It's an unbelievable shout, isn't it? David De Gea.
Billy goes to Spain for his holidays and he spends a whole fortnight signing autographs, man, kidding on his De Gea.
That flight from Motherwell to Fiorentina was taking its toll, and he's just sacked it.
Aye.
Couldn't he keep getting out there on Sundays to play games, could he?
Lenny Miller went there my first time. He's like, I'm a fan of handmade Italians, wee man. Aye. My dad says, I'm coming with you. But no, listen, all kidding aside, I find the whole situation bizarre. I really do. Like you says, they're sitting fifth in the league. They've done very, very well. They came to Celtic Park over the festive period, and just unfortunately they met a Celtic side that was at it that day, and we took 4 off them. But the recruitment, am I right in saying, Baz, that they are the 10th least richest club in the league or something?
It would probably make sense, because you've obviously got the 2 Edinburgh clubs, you got Aberdeen. I would say probably there's only Dundee maybe and Kilmarnock that are probably lower than them. If I had to have a guess, mate.
Yeah.
Kilmarnock might be above them. St Johnston and Dundee maybe.
But I read something the other day, somebody was saying Dundee's got a bigger budget than them. That's incredible, by the way.
Maybe, actually.
Maybe. It really is. But all that aside, I mean, Motherwell, they've done very, very well. There you go. The man himself, Mr. William Glavin, who obviously used to work with Motherwell. JP Motherwell are about 11th in the league wage structure. So there you are. So I wasn't far off. I wasn't too far. I was giving them a wee bit more credit then. I said 10. So there we go. That's astonishing.
Who was St Johnston?
So I would imagine. But I know before, mate, it was Livingston.
Aye.
It was Livingston.
Aye, because wee Davy used to say that every week, didn't he?
Aye, Davy, he used to fall off a ladder every day, didn't he? Try to fix something. he's up the ladders. Apparently, Big Effie Ambrose was wrecking everything in there, man. So Davy had to go up on the ladder with the plaster and all that out and start sorting things. And Jim, they were going to start calling him Jim will fix it. Davy will fix it. But no.
But that shows you the job that he's done then, really. If they're 11th lowest budget.
No, there you go. Yeah, 100%. 100%, mate. It's astonishing. It's absolutely astonishing. And to think, obviously in a previous comment, and I think for Ann Jem, I saw that it wasn't just him that was abused, it was apparently members of his family who were at the games and his sons directly. So I think that's just uncalled for. But listen, all kidding aside, it must have been something really, really bad though, Baz, for him to just chuck in his resignation on that, mate.
Nah, it won't just be the abuse coming for the stands in a match day. It's got to be something deeper rooted than that, obviously.
100%.
Managers and footballers, we're all thick-skinned. We know what the job is and we know what it comes with. So, and it comes with plenty of abuse from the stands, and that's all right because we know that. But once it starts getting deeper rooted than that, then that's when something needs to happen. And obviously, Kettlewell's obviously decided that the only thing he can think he's walking, so it must have been really bad. So it just shows you like where football is at the minute. Like people can jump on a Instagram and make a fake account up, and next thing you know, they've sent something, and that affects people's lives. And obviously, they think there's nothing to it, but these people they read these things and it can affect them. So, but that's the society that we're in at the minute, and obviously this is the repercussions with Kettlewell walking away for his job with whatever's happened. So it just shows you that it needs to stop, but it's been happening for a while now, and nothing seems to get done with it.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, we wish him all the best in future endeavours, whatever I'd imagine he's probably going to take some time out now and rethink where he's going in the game now, and then obviously whatever he gets up to after that, we wish him all the best. But looking into Celtic, obviously the man at the moment, Baz, Brendan did confirm that he's going to be part of the matchday squad. Music to all our ears, as a man, Jota. That's a big lift for us, mate, is it not?
It's amazing news. Obviously, we were sad to see him go because he was a special player here in his short time that he was here. And and he was that special that he was off that quick as well, because people realised as well how good he was. So we're lucky to have him back, and he's lucky as well that we've took him back, because you sometimes see with a lot of clubs when the player leaves and that they don't get that chance again. So, but he's a special player, and I think I'm speaking on behalf of every Celtic fan here that they're delighted he's back, and everybody will be looking to see. Hopefully, he can get minutes and Sunday, because everybody's dying to see him. It's definitely gave the place a buzz, because you can see with social media when he'd signed that everybody was posting about Jota that day. So I can't wait, because I loved him when he was there the first time. I know people say never go back to the same place twice, but it's no done Brendan Rodgers any harm, is it? So hopefully we get the same kind of the same way Brendan's took to it again for the second time. Hopefully Jota can come back and do that. I don't see any problem. I think he's a top player. I know he's not played for 2-3 years or whatever, 2 years now, under two different teams, but we've seen enough in his first time here that we know that he's going to be another success story at Celtic.
Well, also what we know as well, the wee man was straight up the road on Thursday, kit off, right in the washing machine. That outfit's ready for Sunday. He's going to Fir Park, mate, and he's going to be standing waiting on the wee man coming off that bus with his arms out for a cuddle, hoping, I'm one of you. Me and you're the same, Jota. We're the same. He's sitting in there on the day shift like that with a permy pen, just trying to get that task bang on so that he can make sure he's hanging. But he's been to be fair, Ryan's been letting his hair grow for quite some time. So maybe Ryan's his mate Mendes, maybe they knew there was something in the water buzz. But and all kidding aside, man, Jota is an unbelievable. This is what I'm saying. I've said it on the podcast as well, Buzz. You saw Yang play on Wednesday night, right? When you see this guy play, you will understand why we use words on here like there's levels to the game. Because you're about to find out why we're saying that. The contrast between the two players is night and day. Night and day, the gap's bigger than the Grand Canyon. So to have that Buzz available again, back in about the squad, back in with the boys, it just, you know yourself, even with that signing for you today with Armstrong, that just is going to lift your whole team, Buzz. It just gives everybody a wee spring and how you doing and good morning, and everybody's all buzzing and waiting for the next game, and I think we're all the same, I think. But what I don't want to Celtic fans is to think he's going to be electrifying, and, you know, he might take a couple of games to get back into the swing of playing, because he's only played 26 games of football if he left us. That's phenomenal. Yeah, that talent. So I don't want everybody getting overexcited, but I agree with you, mate. I think he'll get minutes, and I think we'll all see him make his second debut for the club.
I obviously hear what you're saying, with people worried about how he's not going to hit the ground running straight away. He's not played a lot, but he'll get broke into the team gently, as in 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there. You know, it'll be a half, 45 minutes to 60 minutes, but there's in the 30 minutes that he's probably going to get at the weekend, I don't think you'll see a Jota that's off it, because he's technically gifted, and you never lose that, no matter if you don't play. When you've got the technique that he's got and the touch that he's got, he's going to be fine that way. I think fitness-wise, obviously he'll be a bit off it, but that's why he won't start, and he'll be getting 30 minutes here and there. But in the 30 minutes, I think you'll see the Jota that you seen before he left. I've got no doubt about. I don't think he'll be rusty. He's not like a Dyson MAEDA, and that's no disrespect to Dyson MAEDA, people like that. But he was born with a gift, and his gift was to have a ball at his feet, and you can tell that he's technically a wonderful player. So I've got no problems, as in he's played 26 games in 2 years. He'll still be sound. It's just the fitness side of things of lasting a game that he won't have at the minute. But that'll come back quick because he's still a young boy as well. We're speaking as if he's old and we brought this guy back at 32. He's a young man who's got he's got his whole career ahead of him. So I can't see him being rusty, to be honest. He's too good a footballer and too naturally gifted to be rusty. But fitness wise, of course, he won't last the 90. But I think when he comes on at the weekend, people will be surprised with what he can do, because I can't see him taking long.
Yeah, you don't lose it. I mean, the skill level and everything else, you listen to him. I watched the official Celtic podcast when he done it. It was about 18 minutes long. Watched that video as well, and he talks about in that how he's obsessed with football and how much he's, when he was younger, he used to watch Cristiano Ronaldo, and then it was guys like Lionel Messi, and then it was Neymar and other guys that were on the scene because he likes to play with the ball, he likes to juggle with the ball, he likes to do certain things. And as we comment there for Plunge, he said, why has he only played 26 games in 18 months? He wasn't injured, and what's the excuse for in Rennes? Basically, he was frozen out with the two managers. When you go and read about it, and it's phenomenal. Like, Baz, honestly, I couldn't believe what I was reading. Just two separate managers just didn't fit into their plans. And I find it so hard to believe. So much so, if you go now and look at the Rennes fans' comments and the post that they put out when he's signed for Celtic now, they're raging. They're going, well, we hardly got to see you, or he wasn't given a chance, he wasn't given an opportunity, he was really hard done by. We only seen him in 3 different games. He actually scored 1 goal in the 3 games. So this is what I'm saying for Rennes. And the fact that he's not played, I suppose a good thing for us, being selfish that way, but he's no battered in terms of mileage. He's not going to be battered in terms of the amount of games he's been playing. But it's baffling, mate, to know how much a talent he is. Espirito Santo, obviously now at Nottingham Forest, he took him to Saudi. And then Sampioli brought him to Rennes. And both managers, they bring him in, they let him train, they see him in 1 or 2 games, and then eventually he's just frozen out. It's bizarre.
It's football though, right? There's no... Sometimes you go somewhere and you don't fit in to the style. Mm-hmm. I know that sounds mad because the manager signed them, but there's a difference with signing somebody and actually seeing them up close. So maybe Espirito Santo thought he was someone else that he was getting, and he never. But I think it was more than just the football side in Saudi that stopped them from playing. They're obviously only allowed a certain amount of foreign players. And because they were all competing over there because they got loads of money, maybe Jota's name wasn't that big marquee signing that the Saudi clubs wanted at the time. So I think they were trying to get rid of him to get somebody else in. Because as far as I'm aware, I think Benzema liked Jota.
Yeah, they got on, yeah. And so did Kante as well.
But I think for the hierarchy over there, he probably wasn't that big name that all the clubs in the other leagues were signing. So maybe that kind of killed him a wee bit there as well. And then the Rennes one, they signed Glenn Kamara in summer, and he's not a sniff either. So it just shows you that it doesn't really matter about... I'm not comparing Glenn Kamara to Jota, obviously, but Glenn Kamara never got played either, so it doesn't mean because you get signed that you're automatically going to go and play at that club.
I think it better be more Kamara.
Kamara. It might not have been the manager that wanted to sign the players as well. You see at certain clubs where chairmen bring players in, or it's the sporting directors that's bringing them in, and the manager's like, well, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to play you because I never signed you. And and the guy's just been sacked as well. He's just signed Kyogo and he's
Well, that's what I
sacked.
was just about to say to you there. Kyogo's just signed for Rennes, right? And then they've sacked Sampioli. So you've just said it there. Chairmans and like boards and recruitment teams, and they can sign you away for a manager. So it clearly looks like maybe that situation's came about for Kyogo there.
Well, that club looking for the outside, I've doing a bit of digging on them. They're doing it. They're doing it bottom of the league. Like they should never be there. So there's something clearly not right at the club. Because you can't give a manager 10 million to spend on a striker, and then a day later or 2 days later, the manager's sacked. It doesn't add up. How can you trust him with 10 million 2 days before if you know you're going to sack him? So there's something obviously going on at Rennes at the minute, but we've benefited it from whatever's going on there because we obviously sold a top class winger for 20 odd million and brought him back for 10 million 2 years later. So I'm happy with how it's panned out for Jota because my daughter loved him obviously, and I thought I had to break her heart 2 years ago and tell her he's left, and then you never ever think that he's going to be back. So I got to tell her on Thursday that he was back, and she was over the moon again. So I'm delighted that he's back.
Wayne turned the telly on Wednesday night and seen Yang. She's not watching Celtic again now. She's like, oh no. Hey, how's Sean Murphy getting on the snooker? Mum going to turn that out? Oh, tremendous. Big shout out to Idah. Absolutely sensational, yes. Obviously going into Sunday, Baz, I was just about to come to Idah. I put a post on Twitter regarding Adam. It was just a photo of Adam. And on my caption it says, surely the applause has to be just as loud as the disrespect. Because I felt before that there was a lot said about Idah that was, in my opinion, well over the top. No, people saying he was shite and calling him a big daddy and a lot of really disgusting things. And for what I was reading, I'm not even going to begin to start saying. It was just some of the nice comments that I can say here. You know, but as I said the other night, he just sprung to life. Like, you know, there was a lot more energy about him. My dad even says to me that yesterday, JP, do you think that Kyogo moving on could be the best thing that's happened to Idah? What's your take on that, Buzz?
Listen, he's obviously had a great game at Villa Park. I thought he was brilliant. It's probably best I've seen him this season. But I know people have been criticising him. I think probably rightly so. But there is a line, obviously. You can't stay and turn around and say stuff like he's shite because he's clearly no shite. Boy's getting back, obviously going through a bad bit of form, but that happens in football. Everybody goes through a bad spell. Kyogo leaving, could that have helped him? Possibly, but I just think what helped the other night is in Scotland you play against low blocks every single week.
Yeah.
And I think the other night with him playing high and giving space in behind and his speed and his strength, I thought that the game suited him the other night. Whereas when he's playing every week in Scotland, it's low blocks that you're trying to break down and you don't get the space to run in behind, really. So maybe that would have helped him the other night as well, but there's no doubt about it, he performed the other night. But I still think we need to see that on a consistent basis, because if that's what he can do to teams like Aston Villa, we need to be saying that week in, week out in Scotland, because I thought the other night he was brilliant. He used his pace, used his strength brilliantly. I think occupied the full back four himself at times in the first half. So hopefully that's the turning point, because sometimes in football it can be wee things like that the other night that turn your season around, because he has been playing this season with a lack of confidence, I think, if you watching from the outside.
Yeah.
Because like I said earlier in the podcast, people write about you. He sees that. Like he's no seeing it. He obviously sees it. He's got Instagram, he's got Twitter.
And do the boys all talk about it in the dressing room and stuff, Baz? When you're in there, they're like, oh, did you see that thing about you last night, big man?
No,
And
because you don't want to do that because you know what effect it has in the player, but he then probably wouldn't say it himself as well. So he'll be holding that into himself. And that's the worst thing you can do, because you should speak about it because people can help, obviously. But it's a pride thing, so he probably doesn't want people to know that that's happening, even though these people do know that it's happening. Everybody knows, but it's just the way it is, a changing room. Listen, he might be, I don't know the boy, but he might be strong-willed and that nothing like that gets to him, but 9 times out of 10 it does, and people say it don't, but it does. But I think he's struggled at times this season for confidence. Now he's went and scored 2 at Villa Park and had a great game. I think that could be the turning point. If he does want to reach the heights of last season, then he needs to kick on now, because I've seen we've been linked with another striker, Visgarden, boy for Bromby. So if he wants to keep that jersey, it's his at the minute, like we said, with the midfield fee, that's his at the minute as well. There's no other striker really in the building, so he's got to perform.
Do you think Johnny Kenny will get game time now, Baz? Obviously now he can play in the league and stuff like that. Do you think Johnny will... I know he came on against Ross County, but do you think that's, in contrast to, like, say, Danny Cummings, do you think maybe Johnny Kenny will get an opportunity?
I speak to one of my mates who's follows Celtic every week, and he was saying that he's gone back out on loan apparently. So if that's the case, then I can't see it. I think the boy Cummins will probably stay there now until we get somebody else in. But apparently my mate was adamant he's gone back out on loan. He's been brought back to go back out on loan. So I don't know. That'll probably happen in the next few days if it's going to happen. But we need a striker, obviously, unless we get this other winger that we've bid for. Then maybe Dies and MAEDA and Idah will be the 2 strikers, maybe, because you'll have Jota on the left with Kuhn, and then you'll have the new boy if they can get him in. I know they failed with a £4.5 million bid because they want 7 million. So it might be a case of no more strikers, and it's Idah and MAEDA fighting for the number 9 jersey. So there's options, but I would like to see another number 9 come in, because when you lose somebody in the quality Kyogo, I know Adam Idah done well the other night, but up until the other night, we've been, I think it was 12 goals without a goal. So we probably need a bit of strength and depth through the middle.
Yeah, I agree with you, mate. I think there's a wee bit of a gap now, and a hole in the team now for Kyogo's left. And I do think Adam needs a hand. He's not all of a sudden going to become this robot that can just now step in and go, boom, I'm going to play every single game. As you seen him the other night, and Brendan also said in his interview after the game, we need to build on him now, because now he's going to have to be, he's going to have to be able to play 90 minutes when he's called upon to do it. Just now he's not, which is why we saw the lad Danny Cummings coming off the bench. So, I think given a bit more time, a wee bit more work with the big man, and I think the Celtic fans have maybe seen the start of maybe the big man going to kick on this season. A wee comment there for Stesano. I've never actually seen this guy comment before. He says, "Hi lads from Hau Hin in Thailand, going to Celtic. Wee Barry comes across great. My own up as he uses the dreaded word of old firm." I've never used that term, like many of us never. Hail, boys. I think it's because it's known up here, Baz, as the Glasgow Derby. I think it's Celtic fans maybe. He's been in England too long. But no, listen, thanks very much for tuning in to the channel, mate. If you do like, please hit the like and subscribe. It's free, and come and join the family. If anybody that is watching us just now, please hit the like. As I said, it's totally free, and it does help the channel severely, folks. So you will be helping us out if you do. Right, obviously, I'm getting to that point now where I'm going to ask you for a Celtic teammate moving into the... Unless you've got something you want to add that I've maybe not brought up so far. If you want to touch on anything before we before we go on to the teams?
No, I think we've covered everything, mate. I think you've been spot on.
Bayern Munich in the Champions League, we've not covered that. What's your thoughts for the big one today? How can we, do you know what, mate? I think we're at that point where we're just too used to being in Europe now. It's just another fixture. It's just
another game, isn't it?
It's just another game. We'll get to that when we beat Motherwell, know what I mean? So, but no, obviously today, you see Real Madrid getting drawn with Man City. That could have been our draw. How are you feeling personally about that, Baz? Did you want Real or were you quite happy with Bayern?
What a question that is, isn't it?
As Brendan says, I think we got the easier one.
It's the Iron Brewer square sausage to me. I don't know that one I'd pick.
It's like Ryan, 10:30 or 2:30.
I was trying to think about it on the way back for the game the other night because it was made clear that it was either them two. It's hard because it's crazy thing that I'm going to say here, but I think you can dominate the ball more against Real Madrid than you can against Bayern Munich, because I think Madrid are a team full of individuals that not so much coached, it's just they put in a shape and they go out there and do their own thing.
They give you more of the ball.
Aye. I think,
certain moment, aye.
I think individuals won them games. They've got the best players in the world playing in the front line for them. They can concede a lot of goals, as we've seen this season with Barcelona and stuff like that. So I would probably, if I had to go, as mad as it sounds, because we've won it every year nearly, but I would probably rather Real Madrid. But I think you can get a bigger doing off Real Madrid than you can Bayern Munich. Just depends on what Real Madrid you run into.
That was a scary one at the prospect. I got to the Bernabeu again, mate, because you're like, oh man.
Aye, definitely. I think we won't get as much. If Madrid turned up and Bayern turned up, I think Madrid would hammer us more than Bayern would. But I just think Bayern are more of a team and have like a better. They have like a identity of how they play. We're under Vincent Kompany, so I think we'll have to, a bit like Atlanta, where you're probably sitting in and not really touching the ball. It's going to be tough. Whereas I think Real Madrid, you seen when Ange was there a few years back, the 30 minutes we dominated at Parkhead that night. Should have been ahead. Then, boom, they just turn it on. And I think it's hard because Real Madrid's front line's best front line you're ever going to come up against. So on their night, it could be a bad night for you. It could be that, like you said earlier, big man, the couch getting pushed out a bit so you can throw yourself at the back again. But you never know. As mad as it sounds, Aston Villa beat Bayern at Villa Park earlier on in the season. I
think by the time we got to the Bernabeu, mate, it was a patio doors that was getting open, not a couch getting pulled out for the water.
Probably hoping you lived in a 20-storey flat that night, wouldn't you?
Oh man, even the night against Dortmund, man, I wish the Red Road Flats were still here.
I know. I don't know, mate. I think. I don't think you can pick, to be honest. The two of them are giants. Arguably, probably the best two in the world at this minute. Two of them are in the top 5. I know. Never finished in the top 8, but on their day, the two of them will give anybody in the world a run for the money. So it's another game that we got to look forward to, mate, because you've got to enjoy these ties, because that's why you want to play in the Champions League. I know it's not nice when you lose these games, you get battered, but as Celtic fans and for your kids and stuff like that, they want to see teams like this coming to Celtic Park. So it's one of the best ties you can wish for, but I just hope we get a good account of ourselves. It's going to be tough, but as I said, it's anything can happen.
Baz, I don't know if you noticed the comment after Brad lad. I noticed this straight away. Right, the draw was made, and when the draw was made, the Bayern Munich representative, as Brad lad just said there, he actually rolled his eyes and kind of, as if he kind of done that as if, oh no, and shook his head. Now, I'm not a body language expert, but I found it a bit, as Plunge says there, the Bayern guy was bricking it a wee bit. Now, I'm not a body language, but I just found that interesting as to why, why do you think he sat and done that when the draw was made? Because Man City were obviously drawn out first, and then Real Madrid came out. So he knew, because we were already drawn as a home side, so he knew obviously the next fixture was, as soon as he was like that, when the Real Madrid ball came out, he knew he was kind of like as if, oh no. So I don't know what to take for that, mate. What do you think?
He was worried about the park getting battered with pyrotechnics.
Aye. There's that many flares going about, man. I thought John Travolta was turning back up for a bit of Saturday Night Fever.
No, man. No, I never seen the draw. To be honest, I was training. So I've not seen it, but I don't know what to take from it, because he surely can't be rolling his eyes at getting Celtic or getting Man City. So I don't know. It's not, they're not going to enjoy it, because they know Celtic Park's a hard place to come to for any team in Europe. So they won't like that. They'll want to try and stay in the tie, obviously, and give themselves the second leg to try and see it home. But they know they're not going to come to Celtic Park and just roll us out. It's not going to be as easy as that. So I don't know. It could be a case of, you never know what they're thinking, do you? Maybe he didn't want to get us, but I don't know, mate, to be honest. But I think he'd rather get us than the other teams that they could have got.
Yeah, I spoke to Ryan about this today. It's interesting. Ryan's put this in. Obviously, I'm going to touch on just before we come to teams, because that is interesting with the pyrotechnics, as you said there. But Ryan's put a comment in, Baz, and I'll get your thoughts on this, mate. So I think this lad, I specifically remember chatting to you last night on the way home for this game, and you told me you were quite impressed with the lad. Now, this is interesting, because I said to Ryan today, how you doing, me, man? I says, I got a text message earlier on about we've made a bid for this gentleman, and it's this guy here, David Sterlick. That's a lad that was up front for Bratislava, but I remember me and you had a chat about it, and you actually said you were quite impressed with the way he moved.
He played against England, didn't he?
Yeah. And obviously, as Ryan says there, Scott Burns, who's quite a well-respected journalist up here, has said that, Celtic have... But I get told today, I never get told how much the bid was. I get told today that we'd made a bid for him. But again, with these things, you don't really want to. But now that this is now been put out by a journalist, I don't mind saying what I was told. I'm not going to tell you who told me, but obviously, what's your take on that very quickly? So obviously now we've, as you said, we're moving through the gears now. It's Monday, the deadline, and I'm assuming Rodgers is going all out to try and get someone he can. But if it's £8 million or anything, near that, then it doesn't look likely that we're going to be pursuing Matthias Fitzgerald, if that's true.
Well, it tells me that Vestergaard's obviously probably they're not going to get him for the money that they've offered. So, like I said, there'll be a list there, and maybe he's next on the list. So, no, he's definitely a player that caught my eye. Obviously, with Bratislava, I thought he was good.
Yeah.
It was a tough night for them, but you always see players that stand out in nights like that, and I thought he stood out that night. I watched him at the Euros as well. I thought he was good. He scored a few goals at the Euros. So, no, I think I'd be happy with it, to be honest. I don't think
so would that.
a lot of fans could really argue about that. Especially, I know fees don't matter, but the boy's obviously played at the Euros, and he's a Champions League experience this season as well. So he's definitely a good one, I think, if we could get him in. Because we were touched on about 5 minutes ago, we definitely, I think, need a number 9 in the door. And for what I've seen of him, his movement and his link-up play and his hold-up play, he looks as if he's like got the all-round package kind of thing. He's not just
He'll be
a
turn
runner
of
in
speed as
behind.
well, by the way. I'm sure he's
He
got a
is,
wee turn of pace.
so he looks as if he's well equipped as an all-round striker. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that one bit, to be honest.
And I'd imagine, if we're at this point now and it's come out saying Brendan was, I'd imagine there's been a wee bit of due diligence done on the guy as well, Buzz. And it's not something that Celtic have obviously just going to dive into. But as we've spoke about it before, Buzz, these things have all happened 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever's going on. They don't just happen the way the journalists get a hold of it and release the story. These things have all happened 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago. Just to obviously give everybody an insight, that's probably more of the norm as what's went on.
I hear have been watched after that night at Celtic Park. The scouts would have been told to go and have a look at that boy for the rest of the time being until this window. So there'll be loads of reports there on that Strelic. They wouldn't have just came across that. Oh, we've missed it in Viscat, and how can we get that? That would have been done months ago when we played them. His card would have been marked, and the scouts would have been sent out. I've probably seen him 4 or 5 times since then as well. So
yeah,
it's not just as if they're taking a chance. They've obviously done their homework and they like the look of the boy.
He's obviously already as well played at a higher level than Fitzgerald, because Fitzgerald's obviously playing in Denmark. I know Brøndby have not been in the Champions League of late, and I'm not too sure if Fitzgerald has played for Denmark at any of the big tournaments like Europe and Europe or anything, the Euros and whatnot. So the lad Sterix, he's played at a considerable higher level. But don't just I looked earlier, like folks, regarding his CV. Don't just think because he's playing with a team like Bratislava it means he's a bad player, or it's certainly a downgrade on the lads Fitzgerald. It's all about recruitment, and recruitment's very, very. It's a very tense thing sometimes, isn't it, guys? And obviously, we've seen through the years we're not always going to get it right. But I think more so than now that Brendan looks to be full control of what's going on, Baz, in terms of players that are coming in, etc. And he's been allowed to spend some of our money. You can just see with the profile of players that we're being linked to now, it's much more sensible than going and signing some young lad. And I don't want to be disrespectful because he's playing at a far higher level than me. A young lad like Yang, who's playing in South Korea, and we've never heard him. And he's coming here, and then he has to kind of build his profile. And so, at least with some of these guys, Ryan, if you're still watching, you'll probably agree with me here. They have a profile that's closer to home, and we don't need to go digging to find it, Buzz.
I think the last few players that we've signed are been linked with, you can safely say they're no projects anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's for the here and now.
Yeah.
The fees that we're paying have went up, which then kind of takes away the project signing as well, because even though Arne Engels was 13 million, I know he was young, but he's not really a project sign because he's been playing in the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
So I think the signings now are for the here and now, and I'm happy with that because there's less risk of getting it wrong, because I know you can obviously bring somebody in for 13 million, it doesn't work, but a lot of the project signings are kind of hope that if it goes right, it goes right. We've not paid a lot for it anyway.
Yeah.
If it comes off, we look like geniuses.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm happy with how the market, how they've been in the market. I think the players we've been linked with, the fees that we're starting to spend now, we've kind of went to that next level, and that's what we were asking for last season when the season finished. Going into this season, that if we really want to do anything in Europe, we need to up the fees, and I think that's what we're now seeing now with players that are coming in. It's it's no 2 millions and 3 millions,
Mhm.
it's 6s and 7s and above now. So I think as Celtic fans, you can't complain, mate, because everything that we've been asking for is starting to happen.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And I want to say a big thanks to Celtic as a club, because now you can start to see the plan and the longer term planning, as Baz touched on there, folks. Not only that as well, the forward planning. It's, you know, we're going to have to, as it stands just now, if the league finished tomorrow, we'd win the league, but we'd have a playoff to play in the Champions League. So we have to negotiate that as well. So in order to do that, you need to then have your squad in and ready. I know KT's coming back. That could be the summer. I'd imagine Celtic will try and get that done early doors in the summer so that he is back in time for when the playoff comes. But you're building, Baz. And not only that as well, in the predicament of winning this league, it then puts you in a position where you have a cushion in terms. I know it's not what we want. We want the Champions League, and I do fully back us to make the Champions League group phase. We're just only having that playoff round to go. We would be seeded in it as well. So that would be, you know, teams, and I don't want to write any teams off, but it would be teams like Young Boys we would be playing against at that stage. So we would have a great chance and an opportunity to make that next step back into the group phase and that fantastic league stage as it is now in the Champions League. But even at that, mate, we have the fallback of having 8 games in the league phase guaranteed of the Europa League. So there is, in my opinion, Baz, not only the Bayern Munich game coming up, but there's also a massive carrot to dangle for further signings to say to them, if you want to come and be part of this, this is what we've, you know, what we've got. And then, as you like to call it, the old firm, you know, the derbies, there is the fans going to get back into that as well. For me, that's a selling point. I know a lot of fans might not look at that, but not having any fans in just now is going to be looked at totally differently if you've got, say 3,000 Celtic fans in at Ibrox and 3,000 of those fans in at Celtic Park. So those are all things that managers, coaches, recruitment teams can have a chat with further players and say, well, this is what's coming up, you know, for the club. And it's an amazing bit of business, Baz, and also forward planning, as I said, mate.
No, I think this could come back and haunt me next season, but I think as a selling point now to players, as Celtic look now as if there isn't an established Champions League team, i.e. your Shakhtar Donetsk that get in every season.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, no to the extent of Leipzig, but people like that. I think that's from buying players like Arne Engels, your Nicholas Kuhns, your Adam Idahs and people like that, Paolo Bernardo. I think when you buy these certain players and no project signings, that's where the jump goes from, are we going to get the Champions League, to we're going to have 8 games this season in the Champions League.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what's happened to Celtic. We won't tell you next season because we won't know till next season, but the squad right there, right now at the minute, without adding anybody more in the next couple of days, that squad is a team that are going to be heavy favourites to make the Champions League the group stage next season.
Mm-hmm.
Because they went and spent, instead of buying players for 2 and 3 millions, it's been 6 millions. And that automatically lifts the quality of the squad. So I think the last 12 months have been massive for the club. And you've seen it this season because we asked to get through the group.
Yeah.
And we've got through it. I know we didn't finish in the top 8 and we might not even get to the next round after this knockout, but it's about building blocks, and we've got to where we wanted to get to this season. We also a really good chance of winning a treble again domestically. So I don't think you can ask for much more this season. If we go and spend a bit more money as well, the club's done amazing for us as fans, in my eyes. But I'm quite happy with how the club's getting run at the minute and what they're doing with the money that they've got in abundance. I think they're spending it wisely and really well. And I think you'll start to see in the next coming seasons Celtic being that Champions League team that's always there in the group stages.
Yeah, I said it, mate, at the beginning of the season. I said Brendan Rodgers, when he came back, mate, inherited a team who, a team from Scotland who take part in the Champions League. I says, by the time he's finished, even if he stays beyond these 3 years, etc., if he was to extend, by the time Brendan moves on this time, Baz, I said Brendan Rodgers will leave a Champions League team that play in Scotland. That's where I see Celtic headed, and I agree with you, mate. I'm glad you actually said that, because I was thinking, I've been thinking that for a long, long time, and I've actually said that to some of my closer friends up here, and and guys that have known me for a long time. I've even said that to Ryan. And Ryan, when the first time I ever said it to him, he gave me a wee, as if not really too quite sure what you mean, big man. But I think now he did say to me last week, JP, I can understand where you're starting to come from now, because you can see it, Baz. You can just, like you say, the profile of player, the money that's being spent on the squad, they then giving guys like Casper new deals and trying to keep your best players all happy. The rotation of the squad as well, to keep everybody, sweet. And Luke McCown saying things, and he can't be sitting with petted lips. You've got to be working hard at that. I don't care if I'm a sub, I'll come on and do my best, even when I'm getting a game. I think he's one of the boys, mate. He'd play in goals if he could get a game, as long as he's getting a jersey. And that's the kind of boys you want in and around that dressing room, in my opinion. Boys that will just give their all. Adam, he's the same. As much as people might not like him, but in terms of heart, desire, commitment, everything, guys like Liam Scales, the Irish boys who are big Celtic fans, they're important in the dressing room as well, because they're going to give their all, and they know what the club's all about and the foundation of the club and everything. So, as much as look at Scott Bain's not played for Celtic. Even FIFA's forgot about him. I don't even think he's in FIFA anymore for Celtic. He's that far away out the picture. But as I said, and as Ryan says there, signing guys like KT, Jota, etc., to me, like to Ryan, Brendan Rodgers is staying for longer, because, Baz, you'll probably be able to let us in on that now quickly. When a player looks to, we want you to sign, we want you to do this, the first thing I'd be saying, personally, as a player, is to the manager, right, does that mean you're going to be here? Because I'm signing here to play with you, play under you, play in your system, play in your team. So does that mean you're going to be here? And if, Jota and, guys like KT and stuff, if KT's coming back, obviously, in the summer, in my opinion, these are questions, if I was Dame, I would certainly be asking the gaffer.
100%. The manager's the one that sells you the team to you.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, with KT and Jota, they probably didn't need it sell to them, because they know fine well what it's about. They've been there and done it. So, but they would have been. Well, I'm not 100% sure, but I'd like to think, for experience, that is a question that gets asked. Well, if I'm coming are you staying? That's just normal, because look at Kyogo now. He's went there, and the manager that signed him's left. His head will be. It disrupts you. You don't know if you're going to play now.
Does it really, Baz? Does it have an effect on?
It does disrupt you, because you don't know. Like you've got a manager coming in now who. What if Kyogo don't fit his profile as a number 9? He's gobbed. So when you go and sign for a club, unless the manager, especially a manager as good as Brendan at Celtic and had previously leaving, that would be a question that I would ask if I was going to sign for Celtic. I'd be like, well, how long are you going to be here? Because you're the one that's signing me, and I want to play for you. That's why a big part why I'm signing as well. So I think Ryan's right. Hit the nail on the head there. Like, signing people coming to the club like them too, says to me that Brendan's sticking around for a long time.
Yeah, and again, to a lot of Celtic fans, mate, that'll be music to the ears. But moving lastly onto the team, mate, in terms of Sunday, how you think Celtic's going to approach this one and shaping up?
I think there may be a few changes. I'll go Casper in goal. Alistair Johnston right back. I think Carter Vickers will come back in because I think Skill's got a bad one the other night, so I think it'll be CCV and Trusty at centre half. Greg Taylor left back. I think McGregor will play with Paolo Bernardo, and I think Hatate will play.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the front three will be MAEDA, Idah, and Kuhn.
Wow, that's. I know this is where we are now. I know, and we've not even mentioned Jota there. I know for the options as well, and he's obviously definite. In my opinion, he'll start on the bench.
Aye.
I think the team will be. I think it'll be pretty much the same. Casper, I love Brendan today. I don't know if I've heard the wee clip yet, and the cameras and Sky and stuff were like, he wasn't training today, like, and Brendan says, and they says to Brendan, we never seen him on the camera today. I went, that's all right. He's not always outside when we're outside. The guy went, how no? Is he not meant to be training? He went, no, he's old now. It was the way he said it to him. It was brilliant, man. It just shut it right down as if, no, he's fine. He's old.
Cool.
He's old. He's inside recovering. It was the same with CCV. A lot of times CCV's not been seen, and he's doing a day recovery inside with Big Trusty or some of the other boys. But a lot of fans just seem to start panicking because he's not on a training video, and they go, he's not outside training with him. That means he's not going to be part of it at all. And it doesn't mean that. It just means that he's, he could be inside recovering on a bike or in the pool, or he could be doing anything, But I think it'll be AJ. I think it'll be Carter Vickers, Trusty, Taylor. Can't say Valle now because he's not there. I do apologise for the folks that I might have upset if I said Alex Valle for Wednesday night there. I did put my comment in. I don't know if a lot of you seen it. The day of recording, that hadn't happened yet, so we didn't know about Valle going to Como or signing for Como, definitely. So I did pick Valle to start against Villa. Unless Brendan's phoned Bolingoli and he's back for Benidorm and he's going to maybe give him a half an hour to get him back into the flow of things for a short-term loan. I don't know, but I think it'll be Greg Taylor. I think we'll be fine there. I think the midfield could change. I think it would be Callum, I'm going to say Engels and Luke McCown. I think Luke McCown could come in. You look at the last game at Fir Park, Luke McCown played and he scored in that game, I know, and I think he did assist. He put the ball through to Idah. It was the one they get the boy, remember the boy tackled Idah really badly in his ankle. Because I think that will suit Idah at Fir Park. He's done well against Motherwell at Fir Park previously, Baz, because he came on off the bench, remember, and he get the brace.
Aye.
And then that one was the run in behind where that boy clobbered him. Was it the boy? Was it? What was the boy? Is it? Oh, I can see his foot. Is it Casey?
Dan Casey, aye.
Dan Casey, aye. Irish boy. And then he gets sent off for it. So, I think, I agree with you. I think it'll be Kuhn, MAEDA, and Big Idah through the middle. And I'm going to go a belter here. I'm going to go 4-0.
I was going to say 4-0.
And I'm also going to, here we go, I'm also going to predict Jota to score. There you go.
He will.
I've got a feeling he will, I know. I've got a feeling, and you just see the Jimmy Johnson celebration again there in the corner. It's destined to happen. I really do. If hopefully it's down the Celtic end and he can run out of them and just do that again.
If he gets 25 to 30 minutes, he'll score.
My dad was saying you need to get him on a steak and eggs, man. He looks as if he's all drawn in the face, and I don't know what kind of diet he's been on, but
he probably has been on a diet.
Do you think that's a myth? Because I know he wasn't always big or anything like that, but he was a bit muscular, I thought, the last time than looking at him now, or maybe it's just the fact I've not seen him for a while, but he just looks really drawn in the face.
He's probably had to go on a diet because when you're not playing, you can't eat the same. So he would have been on some sort of diet to not put any body fat on, because when you're not playing and stuff, and you're travelling away in hotels, all you do is eat in hotels, like for away games. So it's all right if you're playing, but if you're not playing, you need to watch. So he could have been on some sort of diet, considering how many games he's played. So I wouldn't be too worried. He'll put it back on with that black pudding and all that he's going to get the square sausage into him in Scotland in a few weeks.
Aye. Apparently he walked into an antique shop today and he seen antlers on the wall. And he went like that to the lass, "Are they half a deer?" She went, "No, they're dirt cheap, pal."
He'll be running at wee Ryan's house this weekend and asking for that leather jacket back. So
They want that.
Ryan can beef him up. He can beef him up with a Sunday dinner, hopefully.
Aye, get him on the Sunday dinners, man. You seen Ryan's Sunday dinners, man? Takes about four people to deliver it to you, man, with the amount of stuff that's on the plate. The size of him, I know, man. I've never known a guy to eat 6 Yorkshire puddings, man, honest to God.
Don't forget, he's got big Liam Scales in the back room, isn't he, still? So he needs to feed him.
By the way, he get popped out of Asda the other day. He's in there the other day and he says to his pal, "What do you want for dinner tonight?" His pal's like, "I don't know." He's like, now the wee man was meaning Yorkshire pudding with sausages, and he's like, "His pal, do you want toad in the hole?" And the security grabbed him and threw him out the door. So don't be cheeky in a shop, son, beat it.
Oh man, you know well.
But aye, as I say, definitely get on the phone to Mendes, Ryan, and get the wee man up for a feed and make him some of that salt and chilli chicken and that you make, mate. That's some portion, by the way. Took a photo of that one time when he made it, man. I was like, "Who are you feeding? You having a street party?" Just like himself. Right down his hall, man. He's got a big buffet full of salt and chilli chicken, man. It's unbelievable.
He might have kidnapped Jota, actually, because he was on the salads for a wee bit there, wee Ryan, wasn't he? So
aye, he was, aye.
I mean, Jota could have been on the same salad diet. It's no wonder he's no weight anymore.
Aye. Even his biscuit wrapper said, "I can't believe it's no digestive." Don't know what the wee man was eating, man, honest to God, but his biscuits were falling out with him. But listen, obviously, I've took up too much of your time, mate. You'll be getting ready for a bit of shut-eye soon, so all the best tomorrow, mate. I hope you do well against Luton.
Brilliant, mate. Thanks very much, and it's great to be back on again. Sorry about the Wi-Fi at the start.
No worries.
In the end.
Is Armstrong in a squad for tomorrow? Is he signing time?
Aye. Mm-hmm.
Brilliant, man. Tremendous.
So, he was on pre-season, wasn't he, for the Marbella with Vancouver, because they're in Vancouver. They're in Marbella at the minute doing pre-season. So
right.
I think he played 45 minutes the other night for them. So he's a fit boy anyway, isn't he? So he'll be sound.
Brilliant, man. But tremendous, mate. As I said, all the best. I'll do my best to tune in tomorrow if I can, and I'll be cheering you on for a distance. But cheers for coming on again, Baz. It's been good to chat with you again, mate.
Nah, no problem. It's been brilliant, mate. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. Thanks to you guys as well in the comments and all the viewers. I hope you all have a great weekend. If you're going to a game on Sunday, enjoy that as well. Unfortunately. So, but stay safe out there and look after one another. Just before we go, you've probably seen it previously on the running bar. Just a wee update on the bonus ball that we're doing, folks, for this jersey here, the Joe Muller 1989 strip. There we go. There's Joe's signature. And the COA on the back of it there. Along with Joe's photo and the wee plaque. We do have 28 balls left, guys and girls. So if you do want to take part in our bonus ball, I've put it up on the screen for you guys. That's our PayPal that you've got to pay the money. That is £5 for a ball. And as I said, you can pay it into that PayPal, ryanclifford9@aol.co.uk. And if you don't have PayPal, get in contact with us and we can arrange an alternative method for you. But, Baz, I'm about to do a bit of reading, mate. There's my book there, mate. Don't know how long it'll take me to get through. But, I'm not too... That's where I get my jokes, by the way. That's my joke book. That's where a lot of my jokes come from. But, no, as I say, folks, if you don't have PayPal, get in contact with us. You can message us in any one of our social media platforms and we'll get in touch with you and we'll tell you how you can make your payment. But as I said, 28 balls left, so not got that long to go now. Another 5 went today, which was great. And as always, we'll do a live draw when it comes time, when it's full and we're ready to announce the winner. But for the time being, Baz, take care, mate. Hail, mate. And enjoy your weekend. All right, guys and girls. See you all later. Bye-bye.
Bye.